You didn't fail. You followed the rules perfectly. And that's exactly why nothing's working. Sit with that for a second. Because if that sentence is true, then everything you've been told about success starts collapsing in real time. And your brain is already trying to protect you. No, hard work works. It has to. Because if it doesn't, then what were all those years for? The late nights, the missed opportunities, the constant pressure, the identity you built around being the one who never stops. What if that wasn't your strength? What if that was the system working exactly as intended? Not to make you successful, but to make you reliable.
I said, Napoleon Hill said, if you're one of those people who believe hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, he said, Paris has thought that's not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands.
And here's the uncomfortable question nobody asks you. What if the harder you work, the easier you are to control? Because think about it. The moment your survival depends on constant effort, you can't stop. You can't think. You can't step back. You're locked in motion. And motion feels like progress, even when it isn't. That's the trap. And if this is making you slightly uncomfortable, good, because most people never get past this point. They scroll away, they reject it, they go back to doing exactly what they were doing before.
I'm 59 years old, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that in the corporate world, hard work does not get rewarded. In fact, oftentimes, you're punished for it. What do I mean by that? I've seen time and time again, people who dedicate and devote their lives to their company. They come in early, they stay late, they work on projects on the weekend, they miss their kids' ball games, they miss out on weddings, they take their laptops on vacation with them. Those people are often the ones who are shit on. They are not respected by the boss man.
Because accepting this means facing something deeper, something almost existential. Maybe it's not that you're behind. Maybe you've been running in the wrong direction the entire time. Now pause and answer this honestly. If working harder was the solution, wouldn't it have worked by now? Or are you still telling yourself, just a little more effort, just a little more time, I'm almost there? How long have you been almost there? And here's where it breaks. Because effort feels like control, but it's actually dependency. You're trading time for certainty, and certainty feels safe, even if it keeps you stuck. And that's why this lie is so powerful. It doesn't just guide your actions, it shapes your identity. You don't just work hard, you become the hard-working one. And now you can't stop. Because if you stop, who are you? Let that hit. Because this isn't about productivity anymore. This is about identity. And identity is hard to question. But here's the crack in the illusion. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards what it can see, measure, and scale. And effort is invisible. Impact is not. You can struggle in silence for years, and the system won't care. But one visible result, one scalable output, one moment of leverage, and suddenly everything changes. Not because you worked harder, but because the system finally noticed you. That's not fair, but it's real. And most people never understand this, so they double down. They push harder, longer, faster, thinking they're getting closer, when in reality, they're reinforcing the very loop that's keeping them stuck. This is the effort trap. where more input gives you the same output, where exhaustion becomes normal and progress becomes an illusion. And here's the part that should shake you. You can spend years inside this loop without realizing it's a loop, because it feels like forward motion. You're busy, you're trying, you're doing everything right, but your life isn't expanding, your options aren't increasing, your leverage isn't growing. And that's the signal. Not how hard you're working, but what your work creates when you're not working. Let me say that again, because this is one of those lines people come back to. If your work disappears the moment you stop, you're not building, you're maintaining, and maintenance doesn't scale. Now here's where your brain might push back again. So should I stop working hard? No, that's the wrong question, and it's exactly how people misunderstand this. The real question is, where is your effort going? Because effort is a multiplier, and multipliers don't care what they multiply. They'll amplify whatever you feed them, the right system or the wrong one. And if you've been feeding it the wrong one, you don't just stay stuck, you get stuck faster. That's the danger. Now imagine this, two people, same energy, same ambition. One spends years perfecting effort, becomes incredibly disciplined, reliable, exhausted. The other spends time understanding leverage, positioning, systems. At first, nothing happens. Actually, the second person looks lazy, slow, maybe even behind. And this is where most people quit, because the early phase of leverage feels like failure. No results, no feedback, no validation, just uncertainty. And humans hate uncertainty, so they go back to effort, because effort feels safe. But then something happens, and this is where everything flips. One decision, one opportunity, one moment where leverage connects, and suddenly the second person jumps. Not gradually, but violently. Income shifts, opportunities expand, momentum builds. And from the outside, it looks like luck. But it's not. It's delayed compounding finally showing up. And here's the brutal truth. Most people quit right before this moment, or worse, they never even enter the right system to begin with. So they spend years working hard inside a structure that was never designed to reward them. And that's not just inefficient, that's dangerous, because it creates a false conclusion, I'm not good enough, when the real answer is, this system can't reward me. And those are not the same thing, not even close. Now let's go deeper, because this part is subtle and it controls more of your life than you think. You don't just work for money, you work for validation. Every time you push yourself, every time you stay busy, every time you sacrifice, you reinforce a belief. This is what a good person does. And now, effort isn't just a strategy, it's morality. And once something becomes moral, you stop questioning it. That's why people defend hard work so aggressively, not because it always works, but because it feels right. And breaking away from it feels like cheating, like you're doing something wrong, even when it's smarter. That's psychological control at its finest. And if this is making you uncomfortable, good, because now you're starting to see the system, not just the surface, but the mechanism underneath. Now let me interrupt you again, because this is where attention drops, and this matters. If you're still here, you're not average, because most people would have clicked away by now. Not because they're lazy, but because this challenge is too much at once. Identity, belief, direction, and that's heavy. But you stayed, which means something inside you already knows this is true. So let's go further. There are two types of work that pays you once and work that pays you repeatedly. Most people spend their lives in the first category, trading time for money, resetting every single day, while a small percentage focus on the second, building assets, systems, things that continue without them. And over time, that gap becomes impossible to close, not because one works harder, but because one escapes the need to keep working at all. And this is where identity breaks again, because you were taught that being busy means being important. But in reality, constant busyness is often a sign of low leverage, not high value. The most impactful work often looks slow, quiet, almost invisible, until it suddenly isn't. And by the time people notice, it's too late to catch up. Now here comes the part that hits personally, because this isn't about people, this is about you. Right now, are you building something that compounds or something that resets? Are you increasing your return on effort or just your effort? Because those are two completely different lives, and one of them leads to freedom, the other leads to permanent dependency. And here's the final shift, the one that changes how you see everything. Success is not about working harder than everyone else. It's about working in a system that multiplies what you do. That's it. That's the game. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So now you're left with a decision. Not a comfortable one, not an easy one, but a real one. Keep proving to the world how hard you can work, or start proving to yourself that you don't have to. Because the truth is, hard work was never the problem, but believing it was enough might be the most expensive mistake you ever make. And now, you can't unknow that.